Hey everybody, welcome back. Okay, so before we get started on this next video, what we need to do is we actually need to start viewing this site that we're making. Now what's nice about JavaScript is you don't have to have this on any kind of web server. Um, your web browser will automatically read JavaScript directly from a file on your hard drive or a thumb drive or wherever you have it saved at. So go to that file, whether it's Windows Explorer, File Explorer, whatever operating system you're on. Go to the folder you created for the course and double-click on your index.html file. That will bring it up in your default browser. If your default browser is not Chrome, I would suggest using Chrome. Even if you don't assign it as your default browser, I would suggest using it for this particular tutorial, just because I feel Chrome is better for development, especially JavaScript development. So we'll minimize that for now, and we'll go back to this code that we had in the last video. So now we're going to learn about something called variables. If you're already a programmer or you have any kind of basic familiarity with programming, I'm sure you know what a variable is. They're very important, and basically a variable is something that holds information. You can assign specific information to it. Okay, so in JavaScript, if I want to declare a variable, I'm going to type var, and var basically means a variable. And then you're going to want to name it something relative to whatever you want it to hold. So if I wanted it to hold an answer, let's say, I can put answer equals. Now, the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put double quotes, or I can put single quotes, because we're using what's called a string. And we'll go into that in another video. But a string is basically something that's not numbers that are being added or subtracted or any kind of math done to it. So it needs to be put in some kind of quotes, either double or single. It can't be single double or double single or anything like that. It has to be either single or double. And you always need to open and close, so you have to have two of them. And then you'll see this semicolon at the end. If you're a programmer, you've probably already used a programming language that is similar to this, where you have the semicolon at the end of the line. But if you haven't, let me explain. So in JavaScript and many other programming languages, you use a semicolon at the end of most lines of code. Now there's going to be exceptions, and you'll see that in later videos. But for the most part, like when you're declaring a variable or something like this, you're going to want to use a semicolon at the end. And basically what that does is that says, okay, this line is done. And it tells the browser, this line of code is done, go on to the next line of code. So it's important to have that. So now we're going to put this is the answer. Now, if I save this, which you can hit Control S, or you can go to File, and then just go down to Save. Either way is fine, it'll work. And I bring up our page and I refresh it. Nothing's there. The reason for that is we assigned this is the answer to the variable answer, but we didn't tell it to do anything with it. So now we're going to do something called logging to the console. So if I do console.log, and then I'm going to do parentheses and a semicolon. Now I'm going to tell it I want to log answer. So now what's nice about this is anytime I would want to say this is the answer, I don't have to type it out every time. I can just use the word answer. So we'll save it again, and we're going to hit refresh, but you still don't see anything on the screen. And the reason for that is you need to go to your developer tools. Now these developer tools, if you're new to Google Chrome, will probably be on the side like this. Okay, I like to assign mine down to the bottom, especially for this course, so that it's easier to see full width top and bottom. So top will be the actual page, bottom will be the console here. So you'll see elements. That's one of the options. That'll basically show you all the elements of your page, and it'll break things down on the side here by element. So if I wanted to click on some sort of element here, so like head, it'll bring up head over here, okay, and then body, and it'll bring up body over here, okay. So that's what the elements does. And then we can go to console, and this is what we just did. We logged this is the answer to the console. Okay, so the console is great for testing things. One thing people used to do all the time, and some people still do, and there's a place for it, of course, is you can do something called alert and then do answer. So what that does is if you hit refresh, it'll say this is the answer, and it'll bring up this alert box. Okay, but that can sometimes get in the way if you have a lot of stuff you need to test. So what people have been starting to do is actually just log everything to the console, and that's more common today. So the variable basically holds information, and you can have more than one variable. You can have as many as you want. If I wanted to put var new answer, we'll say, let's do new answer. We'll just do an underscore there, equals, and I'll use double quotes for this one just to show you. This is the new answer. And then I put console.log new answer. I save it. I refresh, and because I already have the console up, when I refresh it, now you'll see the change take place. So you have the first one that says this is the answer. You have the second one that says this is the new answer. Okay, so that's a start on variables. There's more to learn, but for now, just kind of practice with what you learned up to this point, and we'll learn more about them in the next video. I'll see you there.